don't need a high-end designer or a lot of money to get a luxe look. Be your own interior designer.
This is Affordable Interior Design, the podcast.
Here's your host, Betsy Helmuth.
My next question comes from B. B is writing in from Houston, Texas. She writes, I've been listening to your podcast all yesterday. I have tile questions. I already have large format tile picked out for all the walls of the shower and tub area of our master bathroom, but that's about it. I'm stumped as how to finish off the rest of the master bathroom, given that this tile is rather busy in some ways, and my overall interior design aesthetic is more toned down. I'm attaching pictures to illustrate what I mean. We want to avoid as many grout lines as we can, so I had the idea to chuck the idea of using cute subway tiles in the bathroom, even if it does give it a more timeless element to those rooms. What color type of porcelain tile should be used in the shower floor area so that it's slip free? And what type of porcelain tile should I use around the rest of the master bathroom floors and bottom third or bottom half of the walls on the vanity side and this toilet area, which is right across from the shower tub area? We want to tile the bottom third or bottom half of the bathroom walls to be prepared for water leak incidents. We do have 3 boys. Lastly, could you please suggest some things that I could do for bathroom number 2, the kids' bathroom, that would still tie in with the rest of the house? I know my aesthetics do not follow the 60-30-10 rule exactly. It's mostly neutral colors, but I'm trying to put in more safer color options for the main elements and plan on introducing pops of color throughout with accent pieces and decor. Thanks in advance. Well, B, I totally agree with that philosophy. Really, when I'm creating a renovation, I do not think about 60-30-10 in terms of those critical core pieces, be they a vanity cabinet, the tile, the flooring, the paint color. I usually go pretty neutral with that. And the reason is because, I do want that to be relatively timeless. Anything you do in 10 to 15 years is going to look dated, most likely. But I think you could get over or be sort of finished with color before then. So I really like to give a neutral backdrop and do exactly what you said. Add my 60-30-10 colors through, shower curtains, bath mats, towels, artwork, etc. I think you're right in the right spot in terms of your mentality with that. Now let's look at these pictures. So, it's really hard to be giving you renovation advice on a podcast because, as I mentioned, this is stuff that you're going to have around for 10 to 15 years. I don't want you making any mistakes that you'll regret. And I also think that renovation selections need to be cohesive throughout the home. Cohesive does not mean redundant. In other words, it doesn't mean using the same exact pieces over and over again. Rather, it means making choices that all look like they came from the same era, that all look like they belong in the same place, that all have some sort of through line, whether it's the 2-word phrase that you've heard me speak about, which is one style word and one feeling word, or whether it's just kind of coordinating with the general era of the home, perhaps. These are things to be thinking of. Also, I wouldn't really worry that much about grout lines. I understand for cleaning, grout can be not as easy to clean as tile. But you want to be picking the right tiles. You don't want to just pick big tile everywhere so you don't have that much grout. One thing that I do like to keep in mind with grout, however, is that I really hate white grout in the bathroom because it's so hard to clean. Especially, somebody renovated my house right before we moved in just for resale. So they did not do it thoughtfully. They just tried to pick something that would appeal to everyone and do it as cheaply as possible. When they did that, they picked a small white hexagonal tile for the floor and they did white grout. And I will tell you, that white grout looked clean for about a month. And then it didn't look clean anymore, and it still doesn't. And you can see our traffic pattern where we walk. You can see, because I also have boys, 2 boys, a husband and a son. You can see that around the toilet, it's no longer white. I'll let you use your own imagination there. No matter how much I scrub, no matter how much bleach I use, it really bugs me. So I highly recommend not going for white grout, but gray, something like that. On a shower floor, I do typically choose a smaller tile. And yes, I know that means it has more grout, but it also helps to make it an anti-slip surface. It also helps when you're grading the shower floor because generally shower floors are at a small incline so that the water can drain more efficiently. These are all things to think about, and it's why people generally do small tile on shower floors. Looking at bathroom two, again, these are things that you want to think of very carefully, that you don't want to be just choosing because somebody in 5 minutes on a podcast told you that that might be a good idea. This really needs to coordinate with the style and flow of your home. I really like the inspiration picture that you chose with the gray vanity cabinet and the brass hardware. But I will tell you, brass hardware does not work for every space. And brass hardware may not be as timeless as we would like. As we can think about even 10 years ago, if you walked into a home with brass hardware, it looked extremely dated. It looked like it came from the 70s, the 80s, and did not look fresh and hip. Brass has definitely made a comeback right now, but I'm very concerned. 5, 10 years from now, it's going to look dated again. Now, one way to prevent brass hardware from looking dated is to instead do a two-tone finish. So instead of doing strictly brass, the other metal finish that goes well with brass is a black metal, wrought iron, something like that. So pick one element in the bathroom that will be two-toned. The light fixture would be a perfect opportunity, or even the mirror, to have a two-toned metal finish. And then make maybe all the faucets one tone and maybe the sconces or the shower curtain rod a different tone. These are things to think about that will help the metal finishes in the architectural options that you choose to be somewhat more timeless. But in terms of tile, you do want to think about this in a more critical and thoughtful way. So, guys, when you are making renovation selections, there's lots of things to think about. And one main thing that I think about is, how long am I going to be in this house? If you're only going to be there for 3 to 7 years, 3 to 10 years, definitely be thinking resale value. Talk to a real estate agent about what people are looking for. Find out what is going to appeal to others so that you don't make something so specific to your tastes that it won't appeal to people who are buying. As I mentioned before, if you're planning on selling after 10 years, anything you will have done will be dated. So go ahead and make your own dreams come true, knowing that it's not going to appeal to anyone because it's going to look less than fresh. All right, B. Well, I sure wish I could help you a little bit more, but like I said, these are decisions that have to be thought of very carefully together. And also, I would never, ever, ever choose tile online. It's something that you need to go touch and feel in person. Once you've done that, if you get the code and you go find something very similar online, okay, I would still order a sample. There's too much time, money, and energy on the line with renovations, too much life disruption to do any of it cheaply. Don't cut corners, think about it deeply, and good luck. A big thank you to our amazing producer, Catherine Heller, to Aton and the MVCR House Band, and to Affordable Interior Design, the sponsor of this podcast and the premier place to get an amazing look on a budget. Check out affordableinteriordesign.com. If you guys love the show, the very best way to support us is by spreading the word. Tell your friends or write us an awesome review on iTunes. So until next week, guys, thanks so much for joining us, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.